Hi, welcome to Crystal's Journey. I'm Crystal.
And I am Ben.
And this is a podcast about recovery in our lives. And you can catch us on Spotify audio, YouTube, and all of our reels on all the socials.
Yes.
And so today, I think I want to chat a little bit about patience. It is a virtue that I am all too familiar with and not grasping. It is a it's a characteristic and a character defect of mine that I need to work on because, oh boy. I shared a little bit about my patience, this virtue that I'm trying to handle. About my card, my bank card, my debit card with my bank. I had a fraud alert for a stupid $29 charge. And so my bank, excuse me, put a stop on my card without letting me know. And I was at Walgreens, blah, blah, blah. And so they just froze my account or froze my card. And which really was not cool, but whatever. So 2 weeks ago, Thursday, so 2 weeks ago yesterday, they ordered me a new card. So I've been patiently waiting for my card. They said it would take 7 to 10 business days. So I'm like,
twiddling your thumbs.
Waiting, and 10 business days would have been yesterday. Still no card. So I marched my happy, angry ass, which I have been really working on my trying not to have confrontation, because I saw a quote that said, "No one wins in a confrontation. No one wins. No one wins in a confrontation." So I got this going in my head as I'm walking in there. No one wins in a confrontation. No one wins in a confrontation. And so I'm thinking, okay, just be nice. Talk with your diaphragm, Crystal. Talk with your diaphragm. Don't talk like this, because when you talk like this, no one listens. And I'm trying to listen to what one of my bosses at work tells me all the time. He always says, "Crystal, people don't yell anymore. It's 2026. They don't hear you when you yell." And so I'm hearing all this stuff that I'm learning, and I'm like, okay, so I walk in and I'm really calm and I'm cool, and I'm talking with my diaphragm. I'm talking very calm. And I said, "I need to speak to the manager." And she said, "Oh, okay, Mrs. Robinson." And I said, I explained the situation, and I said, "I don't want to close my account. This has been a very big inconvenience. I always use my ATM card. I'm going out of town. I really need my debit card. Can you please find out where my card is?" And he was very nice. And he said, "Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel the card that's on its way, and I'm going to FedEx you a new one." And I said, "Great. When will I have it?" And he goes, "You'll have it by Monday." And I said, "Okay, great." And I just was like, "Okay, great. Whatever." And for whatever reason, I was thinking that yesterday was Friday. And so I was like, okay, that's not very far away. And I left thinking, okay, that's great. I withdrew $100 and went on about my merry way. And then I left, and then I realized it was only Thursday. And I got my mail today. And guess what was in the mail? Guess what was in the mail?
Drum roll, please.
My card! The card that I've been waiting for!
You're getting guys all riled up now.
The card that I've been waiting for! Not the FedEx card! The card!
Oh my God.
So I'm a crazy lunatic. Patience, people!
Yeah, that test, you could learn some patience, Taz.
So anyways, I don't even know what to say.
That's
I don't even know what to say.
I-
I guess I jumped the gun.
Yeah.
So
And also, it was only like 1 day off.
one day off. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. It was my card was supposed to be here for 7 to 10 business days.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't get the.
7 to 10 business days. That's 12 business days.
Okay, that's fair.
That's 12 business days.
Yeah.
So
It's both patience and also the bank being incompetent.
yeah, when I was talking to him, I said, so do you think that they're etching it in gold, in a gold bar? He started laughing. And anyways, it's not, the good news is that I am going out of town. And so I'm not spending any money. I mean, my hair looks funny, but anyways, the good news is that I'm not out spending all my money like I would be if I had my card. I'd be out shopping and doing things and whatever, getting my nails done or whatever. I'm not I'm not doing that. So I don't know. The moral to this story is just have a little patience and a little faith, and I didn't. And so now I just have to wait until Monday. He said it would be here Monday, FedExed, and that's my story about my bank. He did also tell me, he said, please just be patient with the bank because we are transitioning to a new bank. And in October, the new bank, and I can't remember what it's going to be called, the new bank, but they'll be able to make the debit cards. Excuse me. We'll be able to make the new debit cards in the bank, in the branch, so this wouldn't ever happen again. So that's great news. So I'm excited about that. So in the event that this ever happens again, it won't ever happen again. So yeah. And he was a really nice guy. So shout out to American National Bank for being patient with me. And yeah, I just need to practice a little patience. And I'm glad that I didn't fly off the handle. And I'm glad that I talked from my diaphragm. And I was really nice. And I just was
Basically, not being a Karen.
not being a crystal.
What?
I wasn't a crystal.
Was that okay?
So this program actually works. I am learning how to be kinder and more mature and more disciplined and not be, more as excitable as I usually am, and not, be so aggressive. The aggressive person the old Crystal that, I used to be, I would just,
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no need to be like that. It's not, it's not that deep,
Yeah.
It is inconvenient, but it's not that inconvenient. I mean, what my sponsor would say this is high class problems, where it's like, she would say, Sherry would say, well, at least you have a bank with money in it. At least you have a bank account with money in it. Yeah. At least you have a bank account with money in it. At least you have these kind of problems, before you didn't even have a bank account.
Yeah.
And before you didn't have money in your bank account,
Yeah.
before you just had Cash App, and before you didn't even have money in your Cash App account, or whatever, so, and that is true. So, I could have worse things. So, yeah. So anyways, that's the truth. So, so I just wanted to also talk about showing up for people, and I wanted to talk about what I do now versus what I used to do before. So when I was using, I used to think about people all the time. When I was using, I would think about the people that I loved, but I wouldn't reach out to them. Like I I've always loved everybody. You know, I've always loved my children. I loved my family. But for whatever reason, I didn't think that they would want to hear from me. I had that voice in my head that said that I wasn't good enough, or they didn't love me, or they wouldn't want to hear from me, or whatever. And or that I fucked everything up so bad. You know, like I had that negativity going on in the back of my mind, you know, and you know that shitty whatever that I call it the devil, that the dark, and I think that's it's the
You know what they call that?
dope.
You know what they call that in psychology? The little devil on your shoulder.
Yeah, it's the darkness, the dope. I just call it the dope. You know, it's the. But anyways, you know, I that darkness inside of me is gone now. But when I was using, I had that inside of me, and so it hindered me from reaching out whenever I would think about people that I loved, and so it would block me from calling people and reaching out. And so now, whenever I think about someone, anyone, it doesn't matter who it is, when I think about someone, I instantly call them or text them. You know, if I'm at work, I just send them a text. Hey, thinking about you, or hey, love you. Or even if I can't, you know, like I'm not supposed to be on my phone, so I'll just sneak, you know, send them a little emoji, a little heart or whatever. And just so that they know that I'm thinking about them, because if I don't, then I'll forget, because, you know, that ADHD. But, you know, I just do it because I don't want to forget about doing it, because that's, you know, I have a tendency to forget. But yeah, I do that all the time now. And that for me is showing up for people. And it's really important for me to do that. And I do that a lot. And before, I never ever did that. And so I was telling my daughter that the other day. And, you know, I think that's so important, because I think people forget to do that. And life is so fast and it goes by, you know, and I just think it's so important that people know that. And, you know, it's funny. I got a text message from this person that I used to work with at Goodwill. His name is Matt, and he was one of the trainers at Goodwill. And so shout out to Matt at Goodwill. And he sent me a text, and he goes, "Hey, Crystal, you popped up in my mind, and I just wanted to touch base and see how you're doing." And I hadn't talked to him in probably maybe a year or 9 months. And it just really, really warmed my heart to know that he remembered me. First, he remembered me. And second, that he took the time to say, hey, hi. And because I got fired from there, you know? And so it was just really, really nice. And you know, just those little, that little nudge, or that little hey, really means a lot to people. And so, you know, when just you know, I'm not telling anybody how to live their life or whatever, but I would encourage everybody to take the time to do that. You know, when someone, you know, shows up on your heart, or when you think about someone, just shoot them a short little hey, holla, you know, or, you know, a meme or whatever, because you never know what that person might be going through, and God's putting them on your heart for a reason, and it might brighten their day. It might make them, it might change the trajectory of their life. You know, you just don't know what they're going through. And so, yeah, it might just make their whole day. And so, yeah, I just think that's really an important thing to do. And so God wanted me to tell you guys that. So do with it what you want. So anyways, I am going to read the language of letting go now, because we always do that every day. And today is July 24th. So denial. And we all have ridden down that river, you know, the one, the
Nile
river
River.
of denial.
Okay.
You know,
AKA
Get it?
Get it? Yeah, denial. Yeah.
the river of denial.
Yeah.
Denial is a powerful tool. Never underestimate its ability to cloud your vision. Wah, wah. Be aware that, for many reasons, we have become experts at using this tool to make reality more tolerable. We have learned well how to stop the pain caused by reality, not by changing our circumstances, but by pretending our circumstances are something other than what they are. Do not be too hard on yourselves. While one part of you was busy creating a fantasy reality, the other part went to work on accepting the truth. Now it is time to find courage. Face the truth, let it sink gently in. When we can do that, we will be moved forward. God, give me the courage and strength to see clearly.
Wait, is that it?
What? That's it.
Why did you were just sitting there silent? I'm like wondering what's going on.
God, give me the courage and strength to see clearly. When we can do that, we will be moved forward. God, give me this courage and strength to see clearly. Denial.
Did you know that the Nile River is actually a river?
Yeah, I know that.
Did you know that it was where ancient Egypt came into play?
Yeah, but let's talk about
and
this river
this
of
river,
denial. Denial.
Why do you wait? How much is there left?
Face the truth. Let it sink in gently. The truth is sometimes really hard to face. You know, when you're in a situation, this is the, you know what, this is the truth. When,
You're right.
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you something. When I have been in relationships, when I have been in relationships and I knew what was going on. Okay, when I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to leave because I was complacent. Complacent? Is it complicit or
No,
complacent? You better get your phone. Fact check that. But I was allowing the situation to go on because of my drug addiction. So I don't know if it was denial or if I was just, I don't know what the situation was, but I was not, I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but
Wait, so
complacent?
complacent means that like you're happy about how things are right now, like you ignore the risks and you stop work, while complicit means that you're actively helping someone do something bad. So you were right. Complacent means like you were trying to like ignore the risks and like try to say everything's okay.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was just going along with it because I didn't want to deal with the
You didn't want you would rather hide in blissful ignorance than confront the truth.
Right. That's exactly what I was doing because if I dealt with the truth, then I would have to change my reality. Right?
Yeah.
And so and you know what's crazy? Okay, so that is the truth. So I just was in denial. So I just pretended. I just was pretending. So I was the housewife or the girlfriend. So I was just like, do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember? So I would act like everything was okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't really want to remember, but I do.
Do you remember, living in Waverly? I would just pretend like everything was okay.
Yeah.
When everything really was not okay. It was complete 110% not okay. There was nothing okay about anything. But, it was, I was like cuckoo. I was batshit crazy. And, you know, and the reality was completely not okay. And so I was living in a complete denial. And my reality was, there was no sort of normal reality. You know, I was living in an alternate universe. And so anyways, and so it's funny because there's this song that came on as I was working today.
Yeah.
And it was that song that says, I just want you to be brave. So what you want to say? I just want you to be brave.
I don't know what that song is called.
It's that one song. Say what you want to say. I just want you to be brave. It used to be really popular. Do you remember that one?
I know. And let the words fall out.
Yeah, let the
Brave.
words fall out.
It's Brave.
Yeah, who's it by?
Sarah Bareilles.
Sarah
I don't know
Bareilles.
Bareilles.
Sarah Bareilles.
Sarah Bareilles.
Yeah, and that song was popular, and I had a friend, a paid friend. I can't explain how, but anyways, and she told me, she was like, Crystal. Her actual name was Crystal. And she goes, I want you to be brave. And she played that song to me. And she goes, I want you to be brave like this song. And someday I want you to, you know, I wish that you could be brave. And I almost started crying when I heard that song because it reminded me of her. And she would be so happy if she saw me now, you know, because I got out of the situation that I was in. And anyways, I'm going to reach out to her. And because she would be so happy to see that you graduated and that we are not in that same situation and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, long story short, so I know that I'm going to tie this in. Okay. Just squeeze in. Okay. So the denial is that you can live in denial for a really long time. You can live in denial for a very long time. And you can also get out of that. And there are ways to get out of it, but it takes a very strong person to, you know, to get out of it. And you have, I mean, I think that it takes, you need to ask God for help, and it takes a form of recovery, and you've got to ask God, you know, basically the same way you ask God for help by getting sober. And it's just to ask God to rescue you, and you give him all the power, and you ask him to help you to get out of the situation and to show you the way. And once you surrender to God, then I think that he will show you how to do all those things. And he will show you the way and the truth. And he will lead you out of those situations. And that's basically what he did for me. And I think that once you find that you can be honest with God, and then you can start to be honest with yourself, and you can be honest with people, and it gives you power. The truth gives you power. And I think that that's the most important thing in life, is just to be as honest and courageous as you can.
Yeah.
You know, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's better than being a coward and, like, you know, accepting that things are okay when they're not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember just being like, I just lived such a big, huge life. I mean, like, thinking like, gosh, it was just so weird, the alternate universe that we lived in.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So, but this life that I live now, it's freer, and there's no chaos, and there's joy, and, you know, there's no animosity and anger, and, you know, there's a little bit of barking, and we have some little turkeys out out on the side of our house that like to gobble every once in a while.
Yeah, they went up to what's that thing outside?
To the air conditioner
the air
unit.
yeah.
And we got a couple videos of them. But other than that, we don't have a whole lot of crazy nonsense going on here.
Oh, don't forget the ticks. Don't.
We got a little bit of infestation of some ticks. But other than that,
Yeah.
we have a pretty normal life. We have a turtle and we have a dog.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have a pretty easy life. So if you want to get sober and you want some joy in your life, you can get a hold of us in the link. And we would be more than willing to give you some ideas on how you can attain that. And if you want to leave a question or comment, please feel free to do so, and I will answer you. And we would like for you to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And have yourself the best day ever.
Yeah. Well, have yourself the best night ever. And again, go see The Odyssey if you haven't.
It is a great movie.
And also look forward to Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Brand new day.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Good night.